They rented the lake house for a long weekend in autumn, 3 friends, a last trip before the cold settled in for good. The house was beautiful in the way that old lake houses are, generous and slightly faded, full of furniture that had been expensive once and now simply felt permanent. They arrived on a Friday evening, unpacked, opened wine on the porch and watched the water go dark. It was exactly the kind of trip it was supposed to be. Everything about it was fine until the mirror. It stood in the master bedroom, full-length, ornate dark wood frame, clearly original to the house. Old enough to have seen the building through multiple families. She had taken the master bedroom because she was the one who had organized the rental, and she noticed the mirror that first evening when she was changing before dinner. The reflection was slightly off. Not dramatically. Nothing she could point to and say with certainty was wrong. But the room behind her in the glass looked darker than the room she was standing in. As if the mirror were reflecting a version of the room where the light was lower. The quality of the image felt different from any mirror she had used before. She went to dinner and said nothing. After dinner she brought one of her friends into the room and stood them beside her in front of the mirror. Her friend looked at both of their reflections and then looked at the actual room. She said, "Huh." She pointed at the window behind them. In the room, the curtains were open, they had left them open to see the water. In the mirror's reflection of the same window, the curtains appeared to be closed. They both turned around at the same time. The curtains were open. They tested it 3 more times, moving the curtains, standing back, looking from different angles. It was consistent. The mirror showed curtains that were closed when they were not. They tried to explain it, old glass distorting, the angle of the frame, the difference in light sources. They had more wine with dinner and by 10 the evening had moved on. Then at 2 in the morning she woke up to a sound. Low and careful. Coming from inside the wall behind the mirror. She sat up. She listened. She crossed the room. She turned on the light. She looked at herself in the mirror, her face, the dark room behind her, the window, the curtains. In the reflection the curtains were open. Matching reality. She exhaled. Then she looked again. There was a gap in the reflection. A section along the left edge of the mirror where the wall behind her was not reflecting correctly. A strip of darkness that was slightly too deep, too opaque. She crossed to the mirror. She touched the frame. It was hinged at one side, she could feel the resistance, the hidden pivot. She pulled it toward her. The mirror swung outward like a door. Behind it was a corridor. Narrow, no wider than a person turned sideways. Running parallel to the bedroom wall. And at eye level, in the backing of the mirror, a one-way panel. A panel that, from the inside of the corridor, would look into the room. The camera mount was bolted into fresh wood. Newer than anything else in the house. Dusted, but present. She walked out of the house and woke her friends and they left before sunrise and she called the rental platform from the car and she has never stayed in any rented property with a full-length mirror since. She called the rental platform from the car while they were still in the driveway. She reported everything she had found, the hinged frame, the observation corridor, the camera mount, calmly and in sequence, the way you give information when you need to be believed. The representative she spoke with was professionally alarmed. She was told a safety team would be dispatched and the property would be immediately suspended from the platform pending investigation. She asked if other guests had stayed there recently. She was told the property had been booked continuously through the season. She asked if those guests would be notified. There was a pause. She was told the company's privacy policy would guide that process. She interpreted this as probably not. She filed a separate report with the local police department the following week. She contacted a lawyer who specialized in tenant and guest privacy violations. The lawyer said the case had merit. The investigation confirmed the observation corridor and camera mount. The property owner, a man who had inherited the house and rented it on multiple platforms, denied knowledge of the corridor. Said the house had been in his family for 4 generations and that what they found was likely an architectural remnant from a renovation in the 1950s. The camera mount was newer. He had no explanation for the mount. The case was settled 18 months later under terms she cannot discuss. What she can say is that she now checks behind every full-length mirror in every rented property she enters. She knocks on the wall beside it. She looks at the baseboards for evidence of a seam. It takes 45 seconds and she will do it for the rest of her life. She has since found 2 other mirrors in 2 other rental properties that were not what they appeared to be. Neither had a corridor behind them, she was wrong about those. but she was not wrong to check. Subscribe to Echoes in the Dark, new cases unsealed every week.